Hey everybody, it's me, Ben, and welcome to a very weird video. Like, a really weird video because I wanted to get the Ghostbusters 2 customs out by the end of Ghostbusters month, but that's not going to happen, and I wanted to have at least one more Ghostbusters month video, so I decided that I'm going to do a kind of like what I usually do when I do the updates, but I'm also going to be doing a movie review for Ghostbusters Afterlife. I usually don't do movie reviews, but this movie was very important to me, and I asked you guys if you'd want to see it, and some people said they wanted to see my opinion, so I'm going to be talking about Afterlife some, and we are in a different corner of the room. We're in the Ghostbusters corner, because it's still Ghostbusters month, even though this isn't, I mean, everything in this video is going to be Ghostbusters, but it's not one of the videos I had planned. This month has been very busy, for me. Busy, some of it busy in a good way. And also some of it busy in a sad way, but it's been a very busy month, and so I haven't been able to prioritize Ghostbusters as much as I wanted to and make all the videos I wanted to, but, I mean, I think the stuff that I made, is really awesome, and overall, I mean, with Afterlife and everything, it's been a good month, and I've really had fun making these videos, and I just want to say thank you so much for the support. With Stay Puft and these minifigures have been getting a lot of support from you guys, and I'm very glad because I worked months on these customs. The most work I've ever put into any customs has been the Ghostbusters minifigures, so I thank you guys so much for that support. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about my Ghostbusters 2 customs first of all. I don't really know what order I'm going to go in, but I think it's best if I start with Ghostbusters 2, because that movie is old as dirt, and so I can't spoil it. But I mean, spoilers for Ghostbusters 2, but it's old as dirt, so I mean, whatever. So I do have some customs here, even though the showcase is not ready, but Vigo is here. I did make Vigo the Carpathian, and, you know, I wasn't actually sure what I was going to do about this guy, because I made one a while back, and I was like, I'm just gonna update the face and that'll be it. And then I updated the face, and the face ended up being like one of my favorite faces I've ever made, so it's not really focusing, but the face is like one of my new favorite faces I've ever made. And the torso looked and everything looked terrible, so I just ended up making an entirely new Vigo there, and he looks awesome. And I do have both the Scoleri brothers, and you'll probably have seen all of these on my community tab, but both the Scoleri brothers are complete as well, and I'm really proud of Nunzio right here. He looks like a puppet like he does in the movie. I'm really proud of him. And then last night I did make Lewis. I made Lewis Tully, so from Ghostbusters 2. So he doesn't have a proton pack yet because I have to order a ton more proton packs. I started like making my own proton pack for Lewis, and got super far through it, but at the end of the day, I was like, I gotta order more for my Afterlife customs, and I can't make one for every single character in Afterlife that has a proton pack, so I'm just gonna order some more, but he is done for now, and I think he's, like, my favorite out of these figures. I think he looks pretty great, and I've already showed off the zombie jogger in another video, but then I started progress today, so it's not very far along, but I did start progress on the Ghostbusters 2 suit, as well as the slime blower. So here's the slime blower right here. It's not painted, but I got all the pieces together and everything, besides the cord that will attach to them, because I'm not going to paint that, and then the actual, the wand here, to the slime blower, so that's pretty awesome. And, yeah, I got the E-tape on there already, so I'm not making all four of the Ghostbusters again, because I already had to do it here, and, you know, so instead I'm just going to be making one suit and swapping out the heads for pictures, which is a little bit lame, because I'd like to have somebody on a shelf, but I think it'll look super cool whenever I put all their heads on it. And I think now, there's obviously way less of the Ghostbusters 2 figures than the Ghostbusters 1 figures, I know. But right now I'm trying to decide if I'm going to make the Ghost Nanny from the movie. That's really the only other character I've thought about making, and I probably will since I'm giving myself a little more time on it. I was originally trying to rush this showcase out before the end of the month, but that's just not going to happen. So I think I'm going to take a little more time on it, possibly, I mean, make this figure, definitely, possibly make the Ghost Nanny. I don't know. You'll know whenever you see the video. I don't really know yet, but that's pretty much caught up on minifigure news because I've just been working on these, and then obviously these, which you've already seen, hopefully, and Mr. Stay Puft, who hopefully you've already seen, and he's pretty awesome, and again, people have really given a lot of support for this guy, and I just thank you guys for that, because I'm really proud of him. But I believe I'm going to talk about Afterlife for a minute. I haven't done movie reviews in a while, and I'm not good at it, so I'm kind of just going to be spitballing here, and then after that, I'm going to be talking about the minifigures I want to make for it, and also some, like, Lego set ideas. So pretty much from here on out is going to be Afterlife spoilers. So I didn't know how to structure this, but I'm just going to say Afterlife spoilers from here on out, even though it's not all going to be spoilers, but I don't know what else to say. So I'm going to put the cup front and center, because I got this cool cup at the movie theater. I saw this at a Cinemark, and they have these, like, cool, like, Ghostbusters, like, caps and cups and things, so I got that cup. That was pretty awesome. I've seen the movie twice. I've thought about seeing it a third time, but I don't know. I've barely been back to the movie, so it's really crazy that I saw this twice. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, you know, I already said spoiler warning, but yeah, definitely spoiler warning. It's awesome. I think it's one of my new favorite movies of all time. Of course, number one is my favorite movie ever, so, like, of course, it can't top that one, and that makes me like this movie more. But, I mean, even if you're not a fan, I think you should see it. I think it's just a fantastic film, and it's hilarious, and all the characters are awesome. And, yeah, I said spoiler alert, and then I started talking to people who hadn't seen the movie, so I don't know what I'm doing here. Again, this is why I don't do movie reviews. But, yeah, just a little spitballing here. All the characters, I gotta say, were so cool. Phoebe, I think, is my favorite of the new movie. She's awesome. I don't know how they made her look so much like Egon, and she's hilarious, and she's a great main character, and I got really emotional at the end with the scene with her and Egon. Was just incredible. Some people are, you know, there's been some, like, I've seen mixed opinions about Ghost Egon at the end of the movie, but I really liked it, and I think it was an incredible inclusion, and it really made me happy as a Ghostbusters fan to see them all together, and I mean, I felt like it paid him good tribute. Paid Harold Ramis good tribute. But yeah, and I'm talking about Egon when I'm supposed to be talking about Phoebe. But Phoebe's awesome. The other characters are pretty cool. Trevor, I was really scared going in the movie that they were gonna pretty much just focus on Trevor and, like, ride the Stranger Things hype, but really they didn't. I think he got about as much screen time as the other characters. And he's super cool. The first time I didn't notice him as much. The second time I watched the movie, I really liked him. I thought it was super cool to really have a focus on the Ecto-1, because the Ecto-1 is, oh no, Slimer fell. Oh no, I'm messing stuff up. But I thought it was so cool to finally have, like, a really good focus on the Ecto-1 and have Trevor be the character that's, like, fixing it up and stuff. That was so cool. And of course, it's awesome to see more Ecto-1 and see some, because it's one of the most iconic things, like, of movie history. So it was really cool to see some, like, for them to really focus in on it in a lot of ways. Like, that was super cool. And him as a character, he was awesome. Podcast is my second favorite character. He's hilarious. He's awesome, and he's like Ray. And he's just hilarious, and I think my favorite joke of the whole movie was at the end of the movie when he's talking to Ray, and he's like, you're my subscriber, because of course Ray, and it's just in character, and it makes me feel so happy to be like, yeah, to be like, I know Ray, because he feels like a friend of mine, and he's like me. I don't know what, I'm being weird now, but that scene was super cool. And then Lucky was, I think that's the last character's name, right? I'm still getting used to them, but I'm pretty sure it's Lucky. If it's not, I'm going to get mad at myself later. But Lucky was also super cool. I do wish that she got a little bit more screen time. They kind of pushed her aside, which I was hoping they wouldn't do with any of the characters. But it wasn't too much. Like, it wasn't a noticeable pushing aside until you really thought about it, which I think is good. She still felt like a core member, and she was there for everything. But I felt like she had a little bit less character than the others. But it's hard to do a 4-character movie. Obviously, they couldn't do it with the first one. But I think in both, all the characters were perfect. And Lucky was still, like, an amazing character. I loved all the scenes, and all her jokes were really funny. It was, I mean, I think she's a super cool character. And then, of course, Paul Rudd is hilarious. I mean, you can't say a bad thing about Paul Rudd, especially in this movie. He's hilarious. People are kind of hyping him up like he's the main character or the main part. He's not, which is kind of funny. People act like he is. But, I mean, he's hilarious every time he's on screen. I love him. I love his character. And, of course, all of the original Ghostbusters, all of the living Ghostbusters, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson came back, and they are all incredible. And it was so amazing to see them again. It was, and it felt like it hadn't even been a day since the last movie. This was just like a sequel that came out like 3 years later, like a normal sequel with how the characters were interacting and stuff. It was incredible, and I loved it so much. And then I do think, I tell you what, the thing that surprised me the most about this movie is Ivo Shandor. Like, more than Ghost Egon, even though that was a surprise too. It took me a minute. I felt like it was super cool how Ghost Egon, they never really, like, just went out and was like, boo, it's Ghost Egon, but he kind of just throughout the movie, it slowly incorporated him, and he was fantastic. But Ivo Shandor was the biggest shock to me, and it was crazy to see him. J.K. Simmons is perfect for Ivo Shandor. I do wish he got to play Ivo Shandor a little bit more because he wasn't in it a ton, but fantastic choice for the role. And it was just, I mean, it doesn't even matter that he was barely in the movie because it's just so cool for there to be this character like behind all the Ghostbusters movies and to not even see his face, and then like bam, they're just gonna show him like, here's Ivo Shandor. Like, whoa, that was incredible. Now I'm really freaking out, and I'm going way longer than I meant to talking about this movie. But other stuff about the movie I really liked. I really can't think, I think I can't even really think of a negative thing about this movie. Like, there's stuff that I can't think of anything they got wrong. There's some stuff that I wish there was more of. Like, I wish there was a little bit more Ghostbusters 2 content, which, I mean, some people are, like, really upset about that. I'm not, because I'm not huge on Ghostbusters 2. Like, I like, recognize it as part of the franchise and part of the history, but I don't think it's that great of a movie, and some people will fight me on that. Some people will agree with me on it. But I do kind of wish there was a little bit more Ghostbusters 2 stuff to at least reference it. I was really hoping they would have the painting from the end of the movie in Egon's house, and I thought that would be so funny if they're going through and they're like, oh, what's this? And it's the painting of the Renaissance Ghostbusters. Yeah, and I always play with the figure when I'm talking about stuff, so I'm playing with the Ghost Jogger. And I mean, I wish Dana Barrett was actually in the movie instead of the after credit scene, but that was a great after credit scene. Oh, I gotta talk about the after credit scenes. But yeah, I'm just gonna say, pretty much the only negative stuff is stuff that they didn't include enough. But I mean, I don't think that's a problem at all, because obviously they're planning to do more with this, because the after credit scene, I missed the second after credit scene, the first viewing of the movie, and the second time I saw it, and it was incredible. I don't know where they're going with this, if this is going to be like a cinematic universe or what they're doing with the Ghostbusters franchise, but I'm really glad it's going to be about Winston, because it was super cool to get a Spengler story, and then after that I was like, okay, we got a Spengler story, and I mean, hopefully we're going to get a Stantz story at some point, but I was like, next, I want a Zeddemore story. I want a Winston movie. And it looks like that's what we're going to get. He's got kids, he said. And I think, I mean, my prediction is that this movie was a lot like Ghostbusters 1. That is one thing people are kind of upset about, that it's like to a T Ghostbusters 1, but I don't think it is. It's got a lot of differences and enough for it to still be a fantastic film on its own. But I believe the second movie, much like how this had a lot of stuff from Ghostbusters 1, the second movie will have quite a bit of stuff from Ghostbusters 2. I kind of hope the villain isn't Vigo again, because even though Vigo is a super cool villain and he's one of the most iconic parts about the movie, I hope if they make this a franchise, that not every time they'll include some new villains. Because Gozer in this movie was a great idea and a great villain. I didn't know who the villain was gonna be. I'm really glad it was Gozer, and they did her right. She was an interesting character. She was strong and strong, powerful. Which in the first movie, Gozer kind of all she does a backflip. So it was really cool to have a Gozer that was actually fighting and stuff. That was super cool. Even though it was weird that there wasn't a destructor form. That was a little bit odd, but I guess she wasn't around long enough, and they didn't vaporize her or whatever. I don't know, but I don't even know what I was talking about. I kind of got started on a tangent there, but I was talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife 2. If they're making a sequel, I think it's gonna incorporate some stuff from the second movie. And I think that would be really interesting. If it is, I bet the Oscar's going to be in it. My guess is it's going to be Winston, and he's going to get Oscar. I don't think they're going to keep getting the original Ghostbusters. I bet they'll have Winston in this one. And if they do a third movie, it will have Dan Aykroyd. And then that will be the end of the trilogy. Because hopefully they don't... I kind of wish they would have just kept it at one movie for Afterlife. Because, obviously Ghostbusters went a little bit downhill when they introduced 2 movies. So, but, I think a sequel, if it was a trilogy, I think it could be an interesting trilogy. If they keep these characters and keep making more interesting characters, and I think fight some different villains, but stay true to the original and also stay true to Afterlife, I think it could be a cool film series. But, yeah, I talked way too long about that, way, way too long. So I'm sorry. I guess I could have done a whole review video, but I'm gonna talk about figures for a second. So my figure plan is definitely I'm gonna make Lucky, and I'm gonna make Phoebe, and I'm gonna make Podcast, and I'm gonna make Trevor. Super excited for all of them. I think accessories. I'm even excited about Phoebe. I think I'm gonna give the Proton Pack and Lucky as well. Podcast. I think I'm gonna give the Aztec Death Whistle to, and then Trevor. I don't know what I'm going to give Trevor. I don't know. He doesn't really have a weapon or anything. Dang, my throat is hurting for talking about this. I'm going to make Mr. Gooberson. I didn't talk about the ghosts in this movie, but I'm not going to get started on it again. But the ghosts were fantastic, and I'm going to make at least one mini puff, maybe multiple mini puffs. And Muncher. Which I don't know how I'm going to do him. He's going to be a very interesting character to make, and I'm excited, but I'm also intimidated by Muncher. And then I'm going to make... who else am I going to make? Oh, yeah, I got to make the 3 Ghostbusters. I'm going to make the 4 Ghostbusters, because I'm also going to be making Ghost Egon, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to make him all clear. That'll be a really cool figure. And then Evo Shandor. Definitely Evo Shandor. Super excited about that. And then, man, I really just have got my throat dry from talking about this movie so much. But I'm thinking about... I'm not going to make Gozer again, because I just made this Gozer, and I think it looks pretty good, even though it doesn't look like the new movie. It looks like Gozer, and I don't really want to make a new Gozer. But I am thinking about maybe making some Terror Dogs. I don't know. And I'm also thinking about making that ghost from the beginning of the movie that Mr. Gruberson lets out of the trap. I'm thinking about making that one as a big fig, because I think that would be a very interesting minifigure to make, but I'm not sure. So pretty much for the rest of the year, I'm going to be just working on Afterlife. I'm gonna finish up number 2 and then work on Afterlife. And then maybe if I'm done with Afterlife by the end of the year, which would be a miracle, I will start on Spider-Man No Way Home. But Spider-Man No Way Home will probably be, the custom review will probably release next year. But that's okay, because I think I've never been so happy making customs as I have making Ghostbusters figures. I love this movie so much. And, right now, even though there's stuff that's super cool, and there's Hawkeye, and there's Shang-Chi, and there's stuff I feel like I'm missing out on, I'm just having so much fun making these guys that I really don't want to give it up for other projects because I'm just having a lot of fun, you know. So, and I really want to focus on that in my customizing on stuff that I like, and I really enjoy this franchise. So thanks guys for sticking with me through it, because there's gonna be a lot more Ghostbuster stuff coming soon. And then people have been talking about Lego sets, and they just need to make Afterlife sets. Like, I don't know why there's not. Of course, there's this set, which is one of my new favorite sets of all time. The Ecto 1 giant UCS version, and I can't even get it on the screen. It's too big. And it's probably the coolest set ever besides the Firehouse. Is my favorite Lego set ever. But it's fantastic. But we need some minifigures. Like, Lego, come on, we need some minifigures. So, I'd be surprised. It's doing really well right now, and Ghostbusters sets sell like crazy. This set was sold out on the first day. So it would be like, it would blow my mind if they didn't make at least one Afterlife set. And if they do make one, I bet it's going to be the Dirt Farm. Spengler's Dirt Farm, which also was a fantastic part of the movie. I bet that will be a big Lego set, a UCS set with all the characters. That would be the most amazing set ever. Either that, or it's going to be another one of these little Ecto ones, which I kind of hope it isn't. I know not Mr. Fuzz, the Lego Bros made a video complaining about all the Ecto ones. And of course, I like the Ecto ones. Here's an Ecto one. There's an Ecto one. Here's an Ecto one. But I like the Ecto ones. I like these two. But if they made another one, then I would feel like it's too much. I don't feel like it's too much now, like people do. But I do feel like it would be too much if it was this set exactly, but it was rusty, you know? That would be a little bit lame for our one Afterlife set. Or, I think it could be the Shandor Mine, but I think it's most likely going to be the Dirt Farm. Either that, or they'll just re-release this set, which would be pretty cool. But yeah, I've talked way too long, and I'm sorry about that. Yeah, thank you for watching. Ghostbusters Afterlife content coming soon. Also, since when you're watching it'll be close to December, I'm doing my first advent calendar this year. And since I was going to keep it a secret, but since you made it this far, just don't tell anyone. It's going to be Ghostbusters. It was going to be Undertale, but I decided on Ghostbusters because I just can't stop thinking about Ghostbusters right now. So that's going to be the advent calendar. Don't tell anyone. This is a special thing just for you, since you sat through 22 minutes and 36 seconds of video. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the Ghostbusters Advent Calendar, hopefully. And I'll see you then, and I will see you in that video. So I will see you. I'll see you then. Bye.